Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is long dead, so it's about time for a sequel. For a long time, I've speculated what characters could possibly be added. Poor 2020 me, hoping for Shadow. Instead, we got Byleth, Min, Toree, and Piranha Plant. Who wanted these bums? Since every new home console by Nintendo since the N64 has had a Smash game, I'd like to share my top 10 biggest hopes for a Smash Bros. 6. To start, I'd like to mention how this is going to be laid out. This is going to be a mix of all my video types. The main part of the video is going to be a ranking, like my top 3 most underrated Sonic games video. The order will follow how much I'd like to see them. Each section will explain how they would work, similar to my Mario Maker 3 concept video. And finally, I'm going to put them on a tier list like I did with my Cross Impact and Smash Newcomer videos. But enough rambling, let's get on to the ranking. Alright, this is the least important, so it'll be by far the shortest. Number 10, the ability to get Miis on random. Right now, you can't get Miis on random, which is really annoying because I can't accidentally play as Sans. This is really dumb because you can get custom stages on random and it just acts like one stage, but if it lands on it, it'll pick from one of your custom stages at random. So why can't you get random Miis? This is super easy to fix, so I'll have to give this an S tier for chance. Our number 9 spot is the option to play all songs at any stage. Currently, every song in Smash Bros. Is limited to stages from the same series. Granted, I understand that Disney, Square, and Toby Fox are very strict with their IP, but that shouldn't mean that every other song should have to suffer for it. Take Alucard. He can't spawn on Wii Fit Studio because he's a vampire and Wii Fit has mirrors. It's a cool touch. So what if that applied for the music too? Something similar happens with KK Cruising because you can only get the song at night on Saturdays. This is such a missed opportunity. Granted, it's still better than one song per stage like Smash 64. I'll give this an S tier for possibility. Number 8, a new taunt for each character. Ever since I've played Smash Bros, I've felt some of the personalities for a handful of characters are represented poorly. Especially characters like Mega Man and Ganondorf, who have entirely different looks than from their home series. An easy solution would be to add a new taunt for each character. This would also help give old taunts a chance to return. I mean, who doesn't want to see "You're Too Slow" return? The only problem it could pose is how it would take away time from adding in new game mode and characters. Likelihood is also being taken away when you consider up until Smash 4 only had one taunt per character. It's the least necessary on this list, so I'll give it a B tier. My number 7 pick has got to be the return of trophies. If you weren't aware, spirits replace trophies in Smash Bros so they can incorporate spirit battles, at the cost of Trophy Rush, Horde, and Gallery. This is a great idea and all, but they also got rid of the descriptions and the 3D models. With over 1,500 spirits, it was probably a lot easier to make than the models, but the biggest charm of the trophies were the descriptions. It would tell you about where a character is from and who they are. I could probably come up with a description for each character in less than a work week. If we include the models, this is a very unlikely thing to return, but if it was only descriptions, I'd give it a B tier chance. The most annoying thing about Smash Bros. Is and always has been the video recording system. It's called replays. I've hated them. Like, sure, they were fine in Smash 4 because you didn't have many options, but now you can screen capture with one button. The replays right now only have a couple of options: to watch them, pause them, and to upload them to Smash's social media. This all leads to number 6, more recording options for matches. I wouldn't necessarily want to get rid of replays, but I'd like to have the ability to record. Since a very small amount of games disable this, we know it isn't possible. Another way to enable this is by downloading it by pressing the A button after you watch a replay. I'll give this an A tier likelihood. As we all know, Sonic is heavily underrepresented in Smash Bros. He only has one character, a handful of spirits, and 2 mediocre stages. I love Sonic, so it hurt me so much when we got all of these losers in the Fighter Pass instead of the GOAT. Number 5, Chaos. Chaos is my favorite Sonic character. How could he not be? He literally destroyed a really annoying city, and hopefully Thorndyke's home. For a stage, we would have to look no further than Station Square. This would take place at a beach at the start of Emerald Coast. It would have a bouncy umbrella and some water to the left. In the night variant, it could be activated by holding X while entering the stage. It would take place in the casino. Station Square Knight would have a slot machine that you can jump on for a little air. This could be toggled on and off without hazards. His moveset could be based on the Inkling, but not exactly a semi-clone. His down special would have him enter a puddle and move around. In his state, his hitbox would be shrunk, but he can't attack. His up special would be a clone of Inklings. He would shoot himself upwards like a rocket. His neutral special would be like the move PK Thunder, as he would freeze himself in one position and homing beams out of his head. Unlike PK Thunder, these beams can't interact with Chaos. His side special would have Chaos perform a stab into the ground in front of him. His final smash would 100% be Perfect Chaos. This attack would have him shoot a death laser to annihilate his opponents. This move would have the unique property of changing aesthetics based on stage. Sadly, since my boy isn't as popular as Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, or Eggman, he doesn't stand a chance to get in Smash Bros. D tier likelihood. Number 4 belongs to the most beloved game mode in Smash Bros. Subspace Emissary. Subspace is awesome. It mixes 2D side-scrolling gameplay with CGI cutscenes. Each character would follow the same route, but with slightly different platforms to accommodate for the different movement. Take Slap City, a game with only 2 programmers. They were able to get an hour-long campaign that changed the story and even had different battles. Granted, there were only 2 bosses in Slap City, but they could easily expand on this, like they did in Brawl. But again, if they didn't want CGI cutscenes, they could make it text-based like Murderous Sonic the Hedgehog. It would also give a reason to have more classic mode bosses, so we can finally escape the Master Hand curse. Hopefully the bosses will be Bio-Lizard from Sonic Adventure 2 and the Lord of Lightning from Mario Odyssey. This will land at B tier. Alright, I might have stolen this from Odyssey Central, but the idea of a custom classic mode route is so amazing, so I had to give it a number 3 spot. Currently, classic mode is limited to 1 per character, except for the Miis. As of right now, the Miis don't have any classic mode routes. And since the Miis are all about creating them, wouldn't it be neat if you could create their own routes? You can make almost anything and it could effectively act as a way to make your own spirit battles. As a fan of the Mario Maker series, I'm all for this. Of course, I don't want it to be limited to Mii fighters, but if they had to, it'd be fine, I guess. Personally, I'd make a Sonic route that actually sticks with the Sonic theming, or a Kirby boss rush. I'd also like to share this with others on Smash's social media. This is definitely an A tier. Alright, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to guess what's wrong with this image. It hasn't been 5 seconds? Well, that's too bad. Pac-Man's alts are terrible. My number 2 choice is for each character to get 4 new alts. Since we lose a lot of excellent costumes between each game instead of getting brand new ones, this especially hurt characters like Little Mac and Wario, who had more than 8 costumes in a couple games. An easy solution would be to add more. Again, this isn't necessary because it's aesthetic only, but it would help distinguish characters in a match like Cloud. We could also get a Mrs. Pac-Man alt for Pac-Man, a Shadow alt for Sonic, a Shadow Mario alt for Mario, and yeah, this is sort of unnecessary, so I doubt we'll get this without 12-player Smash, but it would be neat and more diverse if we had more options, so this is why it's landed in C tier. Before we get to my number 1 pick, I wanted to hand out some honorable mentions. I was gonna add them in full, but then 3 weeks passed since the Cross Impact video. A Sonic rework would be fantastic. So far, 2 of his moves are spin dashes. Maybe his up special could be retextured as Tails to better represent the games. Maybe if his homing attack couldn't lock on, it would just activate an air dash. But since Smash rarely does moveset overhauls, I doubt this will happen, so it'll be a D tier. We could really use some spirits, or trophies, for the Mii costumes. Maybe if you bought the costume, you would unlock the spirit battle. I'll give this a B tier. I would really love to play Rainbow Road and Pokey Floats in HD. Some cut stages in Smash Bros. Wouldn't work because of stage morph like Rumble Falls, but those 2 are completely inexcusable, especially when they are first party. Rainbow Road is hands down the most beautiful stage in the series, even though it's only on the 3DS. Pokey Floats gets a C tier because it's weird, and Rainbow Road gets an S tier because it's popular and similar to other traveling stages. Rayman could be another choice, but since I've already talked about him though, I didn't want to put him on the list. But he could have a moveset like Brawlhalla, but he's already appeared as a trophy and a spirit in Smash Bros. So he'll be an S tier likelihood. A Mii moveset overhaul. Right now, if we combine all 3 Mii costumes, there are only 81 different moveset combinations, and only 27 individually. I hope they'll give more moveset options, potentially up to 6 per attack. This would up the number to 648 and 216. Maybe we could just customize the final smash, or get unique final smashes depending on the costume. Just a thought. I'll give this an A tier likelihood. But let's get back to the main list. You know how I said I like Chaos and Shadow earlier? I know it's cliche of me at this point, but I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Number 1 is Toree. Hashtag toreeinsmash. Toree is a character from Siaktro's Toree series who has never appeared in Smash Bros. However, he is closely linked to the Nintendo Switch. Siaktro has already collaborated with Larsensoft to get Toree in Cross Impact. In an interview with Super Toad Games, Siaktro stated he just liked the idea of telling people they could beat up Toree. Toree also has the hype behind him. In a community post where Siaktro teased these fire trading cards which I ordered in March and still aren't here, many believed was going to be a Siaktro Smash Bros and got super hyped. His stage would be New Siaktropolis from Toree Saturn. His up taunt could have Glitchy spawn behind him and teleport away when Toree looks around. His down taunt could have him enjoy some ice cream. He already has alternative costumes in Cross Impact and Toree Saturn. He could easily have a Tasty Ramen, Hockey, and Original Player for his alts. Maybe he could even take some from Cross Impact. Toree music is amazing. Heck, I have a real-life CD with my favorite Toree songs. Toree Saturn is my favorite video game of all time, so no doubt this would be the happiest day of my life. I'm gonna make the call that this would be an A tier likelihood. I'll put it above Custom Classic. As always, thank you for listening. Are you guys angry that I didn't mention how Steve should have his modern design? If so, send an angry comment below. Don't forget that at 50 subs, I'll rank every classic and advanced Sonic level. I hope I can push out videos on a faster schedule. I just lost track of time. I gotta give a shout out and thanks to Zemchia, so, thanks. I'll see you guys later.